With the best brand of football in Idaho, this is the 8-Man Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome in. It is the season finale of the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, where we are breaking down the 8-man game week in and week out. My name is Brandon Baney, back after a 1-week hiatus, and we are joined by the only member of the panel who had perfect attendance this season, Coach Lane Kirkland. Hey, congrats on the Gold Star Award.
Hey, thank you. Maybe I'll put my name in a drawing for a free car or something somewhere, right?
We'll see if that made the budget. I have a feeling Kingsbury's going to tell us no.
Oh, come on, Paul. Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah, we've really had a lot of fun talking to you and so many other coaches throughout the year. We had Stetson Spooner on the last couple of weeks, the head coach at Mullins St. Regis. But for the final show of the season, I thought it's only fitting if we bring on another coach to help us break down what happened over championship weekend. I'd like to welcome in the 18th year coach, I believe 17 of those 18 as the head coach, from the Butte County Pirates, your 1A D1 state champions, Coach Sam Thorngren. Coach Thorngren, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, Coach Kirkland, earlier this year on the Prepcast, just dropped a small crumb, and we didn't really dive into it too much, but now that you're both here, I want to hear about it. Coach Kirkland, you said something about like you and Coach Thorngren worked a summer job at Craters of the Moon or something like that.
Yeah. I was a ranger out there at the Craters, and I joined Sam. He was in the booth and a lot of other places. And I remember many times getting kicked out of the lunch area to go back to work because we were pretty busy talking football, right, Sam?
Yeah. There always any free moment we had, we were just getting ready to move from 11-man to 8-man, and I wouldn't quit bugging them there.
Yeah, we had a lot of good memories working out there and talking football.
So Coach Thorngren, what made you guys pick up the off-season job?
I did that out of high school. That was my first job I would do every summer when I went back to college, and then I just never left. I loved it out there so much. I still go out there quite a bit.
How did you get roped into it, Coach Kirkland?
Well, they started this new program called the Teacher Ranger Teacher Program, and I was kind of hired to do some work out there, some studies, put together some programs for secondary students and that kind of thing. So just thought I'd give that a try and gave people tours to the caves and stuff, and it was really pretty fun for a summer. Met a lot of people.
And if you thought these guys were good football coaches, they're damn fine park employees. Am I right, Coach Thorngren?
Exactly. That's what made people keep coming back.
What's that, Lane? Go ahead.
We look so good in that heavy denim green too, right, Sam?
Oh gosh. Luckily it wasn't hot out there, so you never sweat through the green and gray and everything. And yeah, being on the middle of lava all summer.
Oh, wow. Well, we could have a whole show just about like non-football stuff, because you two, of course, have very interesting lives, and it's been a very interesting season, both, with amazing stories and then also, tragic stories at Butte County this year. Coach Thorngren, have you ever had a season like this where there's been so many ups and downs on that roller coaster?
Oh, not even close. It was special in so many ways, hard. Just everything. It was some kind of year. I can't even explain it, but it worked out great in the end. But boy, I don't know if I could handle another one like that.
Yeah, you definitely put a few more gray hairs on the odometer this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a reason why he's wearing the ball cap. I think probably the biggest obstacle you had to overcome was Coach Kirkland poking around your sidelines in the semifinals, right?
We love having Coach Kirkland there. I've been to his practices in November also, so we're used to that.
We used to get together in the summer, Sam and I, and we'd scrimmage our teams to prepare for the season in late July, and that was always a lot of fun to know what he had up his sleeve and things he could teach us. And we had a good relationship there. We never played a game against him, but we scrimmaged in the regular season, but we scrimmaged a lot in that July
Yeah.
month, and had some good times there.
Not till last year we played. He beat me and then he left, so I could never get him back.
You run fast, baby, run fast.
That's the real reason he hung up the ball. He didn't want to come back and face your Pirates this year. So Coach Thorngren, tell me a little bit about that, because you're pretty open about, what you're doing at Butte County. You're willing to scrimmage other really talented teams to give yours. Some coaches hold the cards really close to the vest and they don't want any information about their team getting out there. You are a breath of fresh air as somebody who's in the media, because, anytime we have a question for you about your team, about your players, you always respond right away. Where did that philosophy develop from?
Well, a lot of that is, who saved me when I was coaching was Dwight Richens. He was at Shelley at the time, and he was so open and forthcoming with me on everything. It just kind of made it easier. Ultimately, it comes down to what the kids do. So if you can see a good team, play against them, talk to them, and there's always something to learn out there. And, you expose yourself to all those teams. If you learn your lessons right, I mean, it can only help you in the end. And there's a lot of lessons to learn from great coaches like Lane and Dwight and the Jack McKelveys, all those guys.
Yeah, it's really fun to see the fraternity and the brotherhood that develops among coaches, but especially Coach Kirkland. I feel like the 8-man coaches are even tighter than some of the 11-man coaches.
I agree 100% on that. Having gone to Missoula year after year to the 8-man football clinic since the 80s is when my dad went there and introduced me to it when I became a coach. But we are tight. We share a lot. And even during your semifinal game, Coach Hasselstrom from Prairie was texting me saying, "See,
he's a great one.
I told you." But, it is a tight brotherhood and a bond between all of us, and it's respect.
Yeah, so many great coaches out there in Idaho coaching our young men and women in the 8-man game. Coach Thorngren, you challenged yourself with the schedule, of course. You played a lot of good teams this year, and that helped prepare you win the championship. And talking about the fraternity and the tightness of this 8-man community, I think that really came through after what happened with Dylan Waymeyer. You guys were playing Kendrick at a neutral site game in Middleton. Before we get to Dylan and his journey, how did the game with Kendrick come about? Because Kendrick had a hard time getting opponents on the schedule. They had a lot of teams back out, commit to playing them, and then say no thanks. So to kind of take us through that process of talking with them and getting that game set up.
Well, we really kind of looked into it. I think we'd put the message out. We were looking for games. The previous 2 seasons, we came up a game short just for reasons, and that's an 8-man. It happens. I mean, teams don't have as deep rosters, and you could get a lot of kids hurt or kids sick or kids in grade trouble, and all of a sudden you go from having a solid team to being in trouble to even field a team. So we were fortunate enough that we were both in the same boat, and we just decided to meet in the middle. And that is a great team, those Kendrick Tigers. That really helped us in the long run. I mean, you learn a lot more from playing those good teams than you do anything else.
And Coach Kirkland, the feeling I got was that was the one game this year where, Kendrick had a relatively easy time with just about everybody except this Butte County game. Now, when the game was called, they were leading by a couple of scores, but this was the one time, Coach Kirkland, as we were watching it unfold, that we were like, oh, Kendrick might have to sweat this out till the final whistle.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are fun games after you've had 3 or 4 season openers, to get yourself going. You share that film openly with one another, then you come together and you battle it out. It's almost like a pre-championship game. In 2010, we had the same scenario, and we scheduled the Pahranagat Valley out of Alamo, Nevada, who had won 103 in a row, and I think we were the number 48 victim. But we led at halftime and learned a lot from that and went on. So it's a good to have some of those things on your schedule to learn.
Yeah, I think Oakley beat that Pahranagat Valley team a couple of years ago, so they weren't afraid to put him on the schedule either. So Coach Thorngren, you're at the Kendrick game, and of course Dylan has this medical emergency where he's on the sideline and he collapses. What do you remember from that moment? I'm sure it went by in a flash.
Oh yeah, it was. We were having this. It was a great. It started off kind of a lousy game, and then we got down 20 and came back and got within 2, and we were all fired up. And we had they'd ran back, kick back, and then we go down and drive to about the 10, and we airmail a snap, and then they go down scoring. It was about that time. I just remember some commotion on the sideline, and I'd looked over and I'd seen him start to before he went down, kind of seize up, and your just heart drops, and you're thinking, no, because it's just that was our concern from the get-go. Just it was a scary situation. It was like the worst possible thing you could think happened. And at the time, as he went down, I was literally thinking, I might not ever coach again. I don't know if I could get over it. So
yeah, and of course, from there, Dylan gets taken to the hospital in Boise and is continuing to recover, but in great spirits and doing really well. So I think what gets lost in the shuffle a little bit, Coach Kirkland, is obviously Dylan is an incredible young man, but he was also a heck of a football player too, right? He was an important guy to this Butte County team.
Yeah, I'm sure that was extremely hard for him to watch from this sideline, but his role changed. Life changed, and his role changed, and I think he took that on that new role on very strongly, leading his team from the sideline, and to watch him hold that trophy the other night touched my heart. I thought, that's it right there. That's it. That's why we do these things, and it's a story.
So, Coach Thorngren, when did you know that Dylan was going to be able to attend the championship game in person? Because it was up in the air. One of our writers, Jason Chatra, wrote a great story about Dylan and his recovery, and I think he had talked to Dylan on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and it was still kind of up in the air. Was he going to be able to make it to Pocatello to watch? When did you know?
Well, first of all, that was a great article. I sure appreciate him for doing that. I was talking with his mother on Sunday night, and so we talked about the possibility. We knew there was a good chance, but at the same point, that could fall apart at any moment. So we didn't know for sure, literally till Friday that day, that he was going to make it for sure.
Yeah, and what was the team's reaction when they saw him there and knew that our brother is here to support us?
Oh, they loved it. They had a little bit of an idea because a couple of them went over on Sunday when he got out and were with him. So they had an inkling it could happen. And he had guaranteed us, heck, during the year, while he first got in there, he kept telling us he was going to show up and play in that game. And we were like, well, we don't know about that. We'll try to do our part to get there for it. But after that, it just meant everything in the world to see him. If you know the kid, he's just tremendous. I thought he'd be a great coach. I wanted him to take over for me, but he's intent on being a veterinarian, and he'll be a great one.
Yeah, that's incredible. Coach Kirkland, you had talked about earlier this year on the Prepcast, playing for a higher purpose, right? Playing for a teammate. You went through something similar at Cary, right, in your coaching career?
We did. In 2010, a young man, I believe he was a freshman or sophomore, Hannaford boy, Austin Hannaford, was killed in a car wreck on the early morning of, I believe it was October, maybe it's November. I think it was November, and early November. And our seniors just took over for the rest of the year, and he was our cause. And when we went over to play Garden Valley at Eagle High School for the championship, we were all in. And it was an emotional and spirited game, and we played for his loss and for our win.
So obviously, as a coach, you are trained in leadership skills, but Coach Thorngren, nothing prepares you to deal with a serious emergency like that. How do you go about trying to be there for those kids and continue to be a leader and a mentor, but also kind of be a counselor almost?
Oh, it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, we had a lot of ideas of what we wanted to try, and it was really the kids, the seniors, as buddies, that got together and made up their mind what they wanted to do. So we just really had to listen to them. But mostly we were really in tune with checking in on the kids every day and asking around and talking to our leaders on the team, tell them, let us know if we hear anything of people. I mean, there's some kids, kids, adults, everyone that really had a hard time with it. It was pretty touchy just for weeks there. And, it really brought us all together, but boy, it was hard because first of all, you realize there's things that are a lot more important than sports, but the way it brought us together, and like you touched on, we playing with a purpose is a powerful thing. And I had no idea until this all came out. It's just something you have to witness to believe and understand.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, Coach Kirkland. We look at these 16, 17, 8-year-old kids, and sometimes they surprise us, right, with their maturity and the way they can step up in an emergency or a crisis.
They teach us a lot, for sure. And that's a bonus, as us giving to them. But I think they give more back to us as we hear their stories and their emotions come out, and their levels of commitment and maturity come through in big games and in life. So it's a great accomplishment, Coach Thorngren.
For sure.
Thank you. They were something.
I mean, this is a special group of kids. I mean, let's talk about it. First state football championship in school history. How does that sound to you, Coach Thorngren?
Well, I thought it happened about 15 years ago, but it took a while. You couldn't happen to a better group. And we've had groups that got close, and we learned a lot of lessons along the way. And I think you have to go through those lessons, but it still doesn't seem real. I still need to actually sit down and watch the game. I'm afraid I'll watch it and the outcome won't be what I remember, but yeah, they are something else. And I mean, the communities, I don't know if those kids realize just how well they are going to be remembered as being part of the group that brought the first one.
Is there a play or two that stand out in your mind vividly? Like you said, you haven't gone back and watched it yet, but is there a defining player moment that sticks out to you?
Well, the fumble return right before halftime, I think that's probably the most iconic play in Butte County history right now. So that one really stands out. And then if it wasn't that one, it was honestly after we answered their first score, as we went right down and matched it. That was pretty big. We've talked all year about how we respond to things. We don't mope, we don't do anything. We get over it, we move on, and we respond. And so I think that was the most important part of the game, just to make sure we showed we were there and we weren't going away.
Yeah, Coach Kirkland, that Oakley team is no joke. You've seen it up close and personal. Obviously, Coach Thorngren has as well. And they came out right away and took it down and scored. And I thought, oh man, we're going to be in for a battle all night. But just talk about this Oakley team a little bit too, because they were going for a really unprecedented 4 state championships in a row, which is really hard to accomplish. And I know there's going to be a lot of disappointed Oakley fans, but I think you have to take a step back and look at, we had an incredible season still.
Yeah, let me touch a little more on Sam's thing, and then I'll turn to that.
Okay,
but,
sure.
Coach Thorngren talked about stepping up there and responding, and that's great coaching. Not a lot of good teams with the best players understand that concept, and I think the best response I saw in that game was when Razor ran a million yards down there, and it got called back, and then the next play, wham, Archibald's cruising on the other side of the field. That's response. That's poise. And if you're in a championship game, you got to have poise, and they learned that throughout the year. That's great coaching. And I saw that all night there as a good response. Onto the Oakley legacy. Holy schmack! That's a lot of chances at a title, a lot of consecutive wins in a row, 3 in a row. Those are wins, not just participation in a state title. I coached in 5 state titles in a row. I won the first 2 and lost the next 3. that's a great accomplishment as well. But to go for a fourth win in a row is an amazing feat. It's tough. It's tough to go back to back. Let me tell you, it's a whole different journey the next year with new kids, with different leadership, with different schedules, injuries, and whatever. It's an amazing feat. But to double that and to try and go for four is really says a lot about a ball club, about the coaching, about the kids, and about their desire to get four rings and do something that no 8-man team has done, which is to win four. We've had two sets of three now, but now we're going for a fourth. And Oakley's had a great run. I didn't think it was their time the other night. I think it was Butte County's turn, but nonetheless, Oakley has had a tremendous run, and I don't think they're done. But just a great effort from that Oakley club that everybody is trying to match for the last 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Coach Thorngren.
Oh yeah, that's like Coach was saying. I mean, the odds it's hard enough to just get to one, let alone win it, and then 3 times. I mean, that takes everything. That's talent, coaching, a little luck here and there, but I don't think they get a lot of luck. They pretty much make their luck happen. They're a great program, and they played hard. There's, we always kind of lose perspective there, and there might be some disappointed fans from Oakley, but what they accomplished was so incredible. There is nothing to hang their hat about. I mean, it's just the difference of one game right there, and they were right there. Every team in Idaho, pretty much every program, would love to trade positions with them.
Yes, and I think we have to remember the same thing as we kind of shift from the 1A D1 championship to the 1A D2, where Kendrick, of course, beats Camas County 68-0. They fall 4 points shy of tying the record for most points in a championship game. Coach Kirkland, do you know who's got that record in 8-man football?
72. I don't know. I thought it was 66 at one time with Salmon River. Someone must have broke it.
Yeah.
72. I don't know.
Yep, 72. And it was from the 2014 Prairie Pirates, I believe, coached by Coach Hasselstrom.
Yeah, that team was great. Holy crap, they were good.
Yep. And so that's the thing to keep in perspective. I did a lot of Kendrick games this year, and I said, hey, just remember, Team X, Camas County is a great team, but Kendrick is an historically great team. And so, there's a lot of disappointed Mushers fans, but at the same time, they also had an incredible season. Coach Thorngren, if you weren't having to prepare for your own championship game, I would have asked you to be the on the broadcast, because you actually saw both of those teams in the regular season, Camas County and Kendrick.
Yeah, they're 2 tough teams. I'll tell you what. I mean, a good team when you see them, and there's no doubt when you face either one of those teams that they were the real deal. So it's Kendrick, like I said, is just an amazing team, and I hope it doesn't take away from Camas County's season, because that team did some special things, and they were a bunch of tough kids. And boy, it's kind of hard for them, because it's hard to be so good in a year there's a team like that out there, like that Kendrick. But that's the breaks of life. Life isn't always fair. You just make the most of it, and those kids really did. They should be proud of what they did. The coaches, the community, all of it. It's it's more than just. It's about trying to win. Whether you win or not sometimes is out of your control. You just do your best and accept it and learn and move on.
That's right. Coach Kirkland, I was talking to Coach Zane Hobart from Kendrick pregame on Thursday night before the championship game, and I said, what are going to be the keys to victory for Kendrick? And he said, we've got to keep Troy Smith between the defensive ends. If he gets to the outside, could be a long night for us. First play from scrimmage for Camas County, Troy Smith gets around that D end, runs for about 11 or 12 yards. As a coach, you just got to be pulling your hair out, right?
Yeah. You're worried from the first play going, we practiced not to do that, but here we go.
Yeah, he did that to us too. So right off the bat, I know what they did. So
yeah, you've seen that movie before, huh?
Yeah, they do a great job at double teaming the end there, and it is tough to stop. You got to make an adjustment on it.
And that's exactly, we talked about good coaches respond. And I'll tell you, after that first play, Troy Smith didn't get around the end again the rest of the night. They kept him bottled up. Now Tyson Tupper, broke free a couple of times, but you could tell their focus was stopping Troy Smith, and they executed it to a T, obviously. So
he's the real deal. And then his brother scrambling around at QB, he gave us fits for a half there where we really struggled to contain him. And yeah, they're just two really great players.
Yep. So Coach Thorngren, the big storyline now is, of course, Kendrick will be going for 4 championships in a row, but they're moving on up. They're coming into your territory next year. They're going to move up to what will be the new 2A classification.
Yeah, I think we should just put them in 5A.
That'll be a challenge.
No, they'll be good. Kendrick will be just fine. They got talent, coaching. They know what it takes to win. They lose a lot, but they have a lot of kids that can play. Their younger group was good too, and they got some juniors that are ready to step up. I'll be shocked if they're not one of the last teams standing in Division I next year, or I guess next year we're called 2A, right?
Yep, 2A. So. And then on the flip side of that, Coach Kirkland, I've asked a couple of coaches at what's going to be just 1A next year, previously known as 1A D2, and I said, you got to be feeling good that Kendrick's leaving, because that kind of opens the field for everybody else to finally take a shot at it. And a lot of coaches told me, yeah, we're losing Kendrick, but we're getting Carey back. And so to us, that's kind of an even trade.
Yeah,
I suppose so. A lot of our kids are excited about that, but sad nonetheless, because of the Division I has been so competitive and fun to play in. Our community and our coaches, even myself included, really enjoyed that adversity and more adverse games and preparation in the D1 league. But such the numbers say, and such as will go.
Yep.
Definitely. And there's no easier path. I mean, it is tough no matter whether you're 2A, 1A, wherever you're playing, there's going to be good teams standing in the way. You guys talked about this on the show last week a little bit, but I wanted to touch on it again, Coach Kirkland. That game last Thursday was the final game for Rusty Kramer, the Camas County coach, retiring after 8 seasons on the Mushers sideline. I know he's somebody you've battled with a lot over the years. That's going to be a tough guy to replace down there.
Yeah, him and Dallas Smith have done a great job there, picking up at Camas County. And, they both graduated from Camas long ago, played hard ball in the 90s, 95, 96, 97 years. I think I remember those guys, and fierce warriors, and giving back to the community by coaching with the Kramer boys and then the Smith boys. I don't know if Dallas is going with Rusty or not. Do you hear any of that, Brandon?
Yeah, you're good.
Is Dallas going? Is Dallas stepping away as well?
Oh, I haven't heard that part. That part I'm not sure about.
But anyway, Rusty's had a good career there. He's always had good ball clubs, and always taught his kids to be very physical. Sometimes a little overly aggressive here and there, but that's Camas style of play, and it's got him a lot of places into this championship game. And what a great way to go out and do his very best with the best team that he's had. And like Sam said, they need to hold their heads high and just say, hey, we got there, because that is half the battle, is getting there. And then finishing is just 48 minutes of a lot of interesting things happen. But congratulations, Coach Kramer. You've had a great career, and good luck in your next adventure.
Yeah, I second all that.
Yeah, Coach Kramer, he was pretty relaxed before that championship game. He was wearing blue jeans and a T-shirt, looked good. I was like, man, I wish I could get away with wearing jeans and a T-shirt up in the booth. But
he's been putting off some surgery too. I mean, he's been hurting all season. He needs a break, but he did a tremendous job there, and I'm sure they'll find a way to pick up and move forward. And he probably won't be very far away where he'll help out when needed. So it'll be interesting to see how everything changes there and who steps up.
Yep, it'll be interesting. And Camas County does lose a lot of seniors to graduation, but they do return 2 of 3 starters on both lines. And Coach Kirkland, that's a good place to bring some guys back.
That's enough to start. You bet.
Yep. All right. Well, we're kind of putting the finishing touches here on the 2023 8-man football season. It's been a fun journey. It's been a fun ride all throughout. Coach Kirkland, I wanted to ask you, which team was the most pleasant surprise to you this year? Maybe a team that wasn't on your radar in the preseason, but as we got to doing this every week and you started, looking at everything going on around the state and figuring out teams that were good and players that were good, was there one team that was like a pleasant surprise for you this year?
I'd never heard of Logos other than track.
Yeah.
And I really thought that they did some great things up there and took it as far as they could until they met the Pirates there. But that's a great accomplishment, another great start. They'll be back, and we can all learn some pretty cool things from Logos.
Oh yeah, I agree with them. I mean, you were looking ahead to this season. That wasn't one of the teams you were looking at, and it didn't take till like week 2 or 3. Pretty soon, you're really asking around the state for favors to get film on Logos. So they took a lot of preparation. We'd worked on them. We'd started working on them weeks before, just here and there, because it wasn't one you could just pick up and teach in a week. You had to be ready or be a little bit familiar with it. And our kids did a great job that week. I think we're actually playing them. They're on our schedule next year. We're going to probably meet in the middle somewhere and play. So, and that's, you want to play those teams because that's the only way you'll get familiar with that style of play. They're definitely interesting, and they had some great players. Their fan support was amazing. I mean, they traveled. They're really into it, and that's a program to watch in the next few years. What they do.
Okay, you heard it here first. Butte County Logos. Be on the lookout for that next season. That'll be a fun battle for sure. Yep. I think the team that was the most pleasant surprise to me was a team from East Idaho, Water Springs, the 1A D2 level.
Yeah.
They were kind of out of sight, out of mind all season. We were talking Rockland and North Gem. Those look like the 2 teams that are going to be, getting the playoff spots. And then Water Springs comes out and beats North Gem. And that to me was kind of the first eye opener. And I was like, wow, these guys have quietly been doing business all year.
You do know their coach is a Butte County Pirate.
Oh, Coach Reimers. I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, he was a couple of years older than me in school. We talk all the time during the season. So, yeah, they always do a great job. That I was pretty happy for them. They did have a great year.
Yeah, they didn't quite make the playoffs. They lost out on that 3-way tiebreaker by 2 points to Mackey, which was another pleasant surprise this year also. But yeah, it was really fun following those 2, Water Springs and Mackey, this year. Had some really dynamic players. So that was kind of my pleasant surprise this season.
Yeah, and they do it with not a lot of kids on the sideline. I don't know if anyone understands how hard that is to go into play each week with only 12 or 13 guys. That's scary, and that's impressive that they can do it.
Yeah, for sure. So Coach Thorngren, when the playoffs first started and we looked at the brackets on the 8-man Prepcast off air, when the show ended, we all Will Henneke, who is traveling for Thanksgiving, otherwise he would be here tonight, and then Coach Kirkland and myself, we all made our championship game predictions. This is way back before any of the first round games had been played, and I put our picks away in the vault, and I've pulled them back out. I'm really interested to see how spot on we were or how wrong we were, Coach Kirkland. So
yeah, let's check.
Okay, let's start with Will. This is what Will had. If you can see this. Kendrick over Rockland, Logos over Butte, Coach Thorngren.
I'm canceling my subscription. No.
I think Will just wanted to go with some against the grain picks there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was Rockland and Logos both were semifinal teams, so he definitely was pretty close there.
He knows his stuff. He does a great job, and that logo site. I mean, you prepare for them. We thought we had an idea until you actually get the kids out there and see what they do. I wasn't comfortable till I got to see a series or 2 of that start to play out.
It is a funky offense for sure. It is. It's tough to defend. Coach Kirkland, your picks. Spot on. Kendrick over Camus. Butte over Oakley. Nicely
Now,
done. 2 for 2.
It's like he was a coach or something.
Yeah, another guess.
Well, Coach, you know what they say. People that aren't smart surround themselves with smart people. I went with the same picks. Kendrick over Camus, Butte over Oakley.
There you go. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Well done.
That's why Will's not on the show. I know it.
Yep, he was the low man. He got voted off the island.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll send Will's losing money funds over to you guys.
There we go.
For sure. Okay, one last fun bit of business here before we wrap up for the season. Coach Thorngren, we decided to bring back, Will had done this in the past. He had come up with the all 8-man names. You know, we're going to pick the coolest names from each, across the state. It's 8-man football, so 8 slots for our all-name team. We have filled 7 of the 8. We've got to fill the final slot tonight. And so I'm going to present a couple of choices to you guys, and we're going to figure this out. One of your guys made the cut.
Yeah.
You know which one?
Chalupa Batman.
Yeah. Now, which guy's that? Chalupa
Well,
Batman.
that's actually Thomas Razor Rifle Duke. So
that's right. Razor Duke. How did he get that nickname?
Well, I don't know. I'm really good friends with his dad. I keep asking him, and I get a different story every time. So I think I know where Thomas came from, but Razor and Rifle somehow. I love it, though. He's a great kid.
Yeah, it's awesome for sure. So, yeah, as a reminder, here's who made the team. Razor Duke from Butte County. We had Bass Myers from Clearwater Valley, a kid perfect. Along the Clearwater River named Bass. Yeah, you got to have that. Lucky Matt from Lakeside. We did Lakeside's homecoming game on IdahoSports.com. He won the homecoming king at halftime and then had a scoop and score for a touchdown on defense in the second half.
Perfect.
Yeah, he was a lucky guy for sure. So Lucky Matt from Lakeside. We had number 4 was Crash Taylor from Castle Ford. That's a guy Coach Kirkland knows pretty well. Oh, Crash.
That is a great name.
Number 5 was a Cary kid, Madden Perks.
Yeah. Madden.
Anytime you got a kid named Madden, right? You gotta put him on the team. Let's see. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I really should have written these down. Yes.
They got several, and there's always a Cammy kid in there somewhere.
Yes. Number 6 from Kendrick, Rally Rotsesender.
Wow. Yes.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
You're as an announcer, you hope he doesn't make a big play if you're doing that game.
He did. He came in and caught a couple 2-point conversion passes in that championship game. So, yeah, we were busy. But anytime you got a kid who can rally to the ball, like Rally, I mean, you got to put him in there. And then our 7th guy is from Notice, Rocky Sauce.
Oh, I love it. A team with a guy like Rocky, they can't lose.
That's right. All right. So I've got 3 choices here for our final slot. And do you guys got like a piece of paper in front of you somewhere and a pen?
Oh, let's see. Here. I can do this.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to present three choices. We're going to write down what we think it should be, and then we'll do process of elimination. So here's what I've got. I'll put them up on the screen. They're going to scroll across the bottom like it's an ESPN ticker. I've got Rusty Hatch from North Gem, Trevor Korn from Garden Valley, Sway Stanger from Murtaugh. Those are our 3 finalists. Those are all really good names. So Rusty Hatch from North Gem, Trevor Korn from Garden Valley, Sway Stanger from Murtaugh. So write down A, B, or C, guys. You got your selections in?
Yes.
Coach Kirkland, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hold up your choice.
Okay.
I chose A. Rusty Hatch.
I have C. I can't get it in the picture.
I chose A.
Oh,
You
I
got
like that one too. I like Sway Stanger. It sounds like a tough kid, but Rusty Hatch is pretty great.
Yeah, it's got a sling to it all the way. Both words.
Yeah.
Both.
We used to have a guy here in Arco named Dusty Rhodes. He would have made it. Yep.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so congratulations. A late audible from Coach Kirkland, and Rusty Hatch from Northam is our final selection to the all-name team. Congratulations. You win nothing except kudos here on the Prepcast.
There we go.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, Coach Thorngren, again, just kind of revisiting, everything that happened with your team this year and Dylan Waymeyer. How amazing was it to see the outpouring of support from not just the Arco community, but I know West Jefferson really helped out and donated. Raft River. I mean, schools from all over, far and wide, really stepped up.
Oh yeah, Grace. We're bitter conference rivals, and they stepped up big, and they did a lot for Dylan. Yeah, it's. But I think we probably heard from every school in Idaho, and just everybody banded behind him, and I think we all kind of just try to put ourselves in that situation, and yeah, you just do what you can. I mean, the way people stepped up and communities, just everyone was so great. We could never get through the list of everyone and everything that they did to help out. I wish we could. I really do, just because people are so amazing. But it's inspiring, and it just makes you, after seeing what they did, you hope to be able to pay it forward someday.
And Coach Kirkland, that GoFundMe that Angie McAfee started, the original goal was 25,000. We're almost to 47,000 raised. That is like almost double the amount, and that's not even including. I know there were donations and fundraisers outside of that GoFundMe as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, Coach Kirkland, how the state of Idaho comes together.
It's a great place to live. It's a tight state. Lots of respect coming through the game of football, and I think certainly is a character, or a tribute to Butte County and to Coach Thorngren and the respect that they have for you and for your program. Brennan, what you didn't see, and I didn't see this either, but my kid come home from Rexburg today, and he drove through Arco, and there was a parade going on. Coach, can you tell us what that was all about? You got to share some stuff there, because that I thought was cool.
Yeah, they threw it together pretty quick. It's been something every day this week, but today they did a parade. The football team went through there. Each class was on a different float or truck or whatever, and we went down Main Street and then onto the high school gymnasium so we could sign the banner and raise it, our first football championship banner. And even Dylan actually was on his way back to Boise tonight. He made it through afterwards to get to sign it as well. So it's been a pretty special day. It still feels surreal. I'm going to do my best to watch the game tomorrow, and I'll finally accept that it's really happening. But it's been some kind of time, some kind of ride. I really need the Thanksgiving break just to sit and think about it and put it all in perspective, really.
Yeah, there's no better time, to reflect than when you've got a couple of days off and are able to process. Because I'm sure you still haven't really fully realized we did it. We went out and accomplished it.
Yeah, I didn't sleep for 2 nights, and yeah, I think coaches everywhere, just right after the season's over, they spend a couple weeks wondering what they're doing. It's hard to get back in a routine after 3 or 4 months of all that, and this season of all of them. There's a lot to reflect on.
Coach Kirkland, is somebody who's won multiple state titles, does it get any easier, or does every single one give you this same feeling of like, wow, I don't know where I'm at, and I don't know how we did it, but we got her done?
It's each one is different, each one is special, and as each your approaches, you'll have a sense of what that taste is like. So will your players, so your community. I think you'll see your players in the off season train even harder, and I think that they'll work together. that unity that was talked about in the story there that was written, and the comments that you made about how it unified your team, that's the key. Leadership and unity is the key. And once you've tasted that and seen that amongst your team and your players in your community, you always want to try and refresh their minds and get that back the next season and ride all the way through. And your leaders will be different next year. But once you've tasted it, you want to keep drinking that drink and spreading the love and then doing your very best. And it'll be another great journey for you again next year. But congratulations, Coach.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you so much for hopping on the 8-Man Prepcast. By far the biggest celebrity we've had on the show. So,
oh, you got Kirkland every week.
I don't know.
Yeah, Coach Kirkland, you talked about it was kind of a weird season for you, right? This was the first time in a long time you weren't the varsity coach. You were still involved though. You were coaching junior high, and you took up cross country this year. Do you get the itch, or are you good? Are you content with where you're at?
I got the itch in November, and I thought, oh man, what's going on here? I'm missing something. Even like the last month, every day at school, I've walked the practice field, wondering what the heck is going on. I walked it Friday thinking, man, I should be on a bus headed to ISU coaching a championship game. But the junior high was good medicine for me. This podcast has been the greatest medicine to be able to associate and to share some of the things that I've learned, some of my experiences, and to mingle with great people like you guys at Idaho Sports and other great coaches across the state. This has been good. I feel really good about my decision, still really do, and don't see myself coming back in the high school ranks, but I just enjoyed sitting back and watching things take place and gaining a greater respect for all that was accomplished in the past and watching what's taken place. And there's always still more to learn from great coaches and great programs out there. And I just look forward to watching that take place and contributing where I can. Well, thanks, Idaho Sports, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to the state, honestly, about 8-man football and share some things that I feel have been important and to talk about other programs I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to. But well done to every coach out there, and congratulations to our final winners in Kendrick Tigers and the Butte County Pirates.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. So every coach, it's always a 1-year contract, and the school board always renews it, or most of the time renews it. And when we get to the spring, Coach Kirkland, we'd love to have you sign another 1-year contract with IdahoSports.com.
Butte County's only 40 miles away. You can make that drive and help us out next year. Football has a way of bringing you back in. You can't get away.
We'll stop and chat. You bet.
That works.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in all season long to the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast. We've had so much fun talking about these great young leaders in our communities across the state all season long. We're going to go into off-season mode, but we will be back again next season. Check back around August. That's when it'll start up again. And until then, there's lots of great other content we've got at IdahoSports.com. We've got basketball coverage, of course, wrestling. Our Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast is going to be starting up here probably in a couple of weeks, where we just talk about wrestling every week. I know a lot of these 8-man guys wrestle too. So, we'll be talking about all those great athletes, and there's always something going on at IdahoSports.com. But for Coach Sam Thorngren of the state champion Butte County Pirates and Coach Lane Kirkland, perfect attendance here on the 8-Man Prepcast all season long. For one final time, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, on IdahoSports.com. Enjoy the off season.